Hello, everyone, and welcome to Awesome Hardware. This is episode number 98. This is Kyle's mouse. He left it at my house last week.
This is my toilet paper with $100 bills.
That's the money toilet paper right there.
So money.
Thank
you.
Yes. This is a live show. We talk about technology. We drink a few beers. There may be some adult language. You've been forewarned. We stream live to twitch.tv/awesomehardware. Hello, everyone who's watching live on Twitch.
Hello.
We also stream to our YouTube channels. My channel is Paul's Hardware. That's what you're watching right now. Going to be streaming to Kyle's channel on the second half of the show in about an hour's time. And that's pretty much how this works.
It's true.
Really quick, going to plug our stores. Mine is paulshardware.net, and you can buy merchandise and paraphernalia. There's shirts with my thumbscrew logo. There's Zero Insertion 4 shirts. Oh, look, this one's sold out. So they're so popular. You better buy them now because they're popular and they sell out. Also some mugs and some pint glasses. Kyle, his store is slightly more exciting right now because he's actually been putting effort into it recently with some new designs, including this Evolution shirt that Jason Evangelo.
Yeah, he's rocking
he wore to PAX. I saw that.
That was awesome.
That was sweet. So check that out.
Looks great.
Also the Crystal RGB shirt, which I kind of want one of.
Yeah?
I mean, I don't know.
I can get you one.
I mean,
I know a guy.
Sometimes gifts are given between friends.
Yeah,
that happens.
of course. If you'll wear it, I'll get you one.
Also, of course,
Get you 5.
Kyle now has some glassware. I have glassware as well.
Yeah.
The Imperial pint glasses, or you can get the tall boy style ones there. And I think this is the first time we've been able to do this.
I think so.
Right?
Yeah.
Cheers.
That's awesome.
With both of each of our individual glasswares.
Indeed.
Yeah.
You know what would also be cool is if eventually we did a collab where I did my logo on these types of glasses and you did yours on this, and that way people could buy a set if they wanted all 4 of the same glasses with both of our logos on it. We could do that too.
Why would I want to put my logo on an inferior glass style though?
This is the best, man. Are you kidding me? This is like the classy Pabst, the classy PBR right here.
How much beer can those fit?
16 ounce, but
it's not
I may be
upgrading
to a 20 ounce fairly soon. Yep.
Because there is a new
upgrading, but also
so you're getting new glassware because I heard about that. There's a new order, and anyway, we'll talk about this stuff later.
Yeah.
Okay.
Potentially.
Awesome. Let's get right into talking about the things that we talk about on the show, which is going to be a new segment, a brand new segment, completely new. Very different from stuff we usually talk about. It's actually exactly the same, but I have a title on it now. It's called The Rumor Mill. Now,
Hey!
I have a picture of a mill there. See, I made this in the brief minutes of time before the show started. When I actually had a few minutes of extra time today.
Nice.
Kyle was scrambling, but
yeah,
his side of the show is still going to be really good.
it is.
Anyway, so first off, let's get right into it with some Vega news.
Vega.
AMD's Vega, which they have now confirmed is a thing and does exist. They also have given it a name, the Radeon RX Vega. And I imagine there's going to be some numbers thrown in after that too. They'll probably have different SKUs. It's going to be more than just a single graphics card. But this is a videocards.com article. This is actually picked up from another website. I think these are coming from Chinese websites.
Chipel?
Oh no, this comes straight from SiSoft because people have the Vega cards. They're running benchmarks. Sometimes you forget to unplug the internet or disable your Wi-Fi, and then your benchmark gets sent right up to the aggregate whatever thing there. So there's this benchmark here that was run, and just to be clear, this is a device ID that they have identified as Vega because honestly, it's probably what that is. Of course, all of this is rumors since this is the rumor mill segment.
Where's the little code, or where's
this is the code that they're working with right now. So there was one that showed up last week that was 687F:C1. This appears to be a different device ID, which is 687F:C3.
If that doesn't indicate Vega, I don't know what does.
Which obviously Half-Life 3. But this one also apparently has 8 gigabytes of 2048-bit memory via 2 HBM2 stacks. Each 2 4-gig HBM stacks, giving you 8 gigs total, 1024-bit memory interface per stack, and of course that goes on top of each other. The listed core clock is 344 megahertz, so obviously going to need a pretty significant cooling No, that's probably incorrect, which is very common for early GPUs before the software knows how to read the information from the GPU. L2 cache info listed there is probably also wrong. This potentially confirms, or at least videocards.com is inferring that this will have 4,096 stream processors, 64 compute units with 64 stream processors per one.
Yeah.
It's 4,096. And yeah, we don't know if this is the top Vega chip. We don't know if there's going to be multiple Vega chips. Still lots is up in the air. This could all be BS. Could all just be smoke. Be blowing smoke up your ass. It's the rumor mill. That's what the rumor mill does.
Sounds painful.
If a mill was doing that would be significant. Yeah. Okay. So overall general purpose compute power that was listed. The actual results of this benchmark that was leaked. The Radeon RX Vega score was 2,756.69 megapixels per second. I think that's megapixels, mpics per second, whatever that is. Put that back up there. And then the GTX 1080 was 2,050.72. So 2,750 to 2,050, which puts it just shy of 35% faster than what the 1080 score would be. And then also
so that would make it as fast as a 1080 Ti.
Yeah. So that would no, it wouldn't though.
No.
Because PCGamesN.com, which is also where this cycle of information is funneling through the darker corners of the web.
The dark web.
Yeah, the dark web. They tested a 1080 Ti in the same test. They got 3,451 megapixels per second, so 25% faster.
Okay.
So the 1080 Ti still would be faster, but again, this is a GPU compute test. It's a synthetic. It's not an actual game. It's just one test. All of those things should be kept in mind as you are looking at this information about Vega. It's been revealed to you via the rumor mill. I don't know why I'm really hammering this segment home.
It's not even like a new segment. We've been doing rumor mill for a while. I think
we've never had the proper lower thirds for it, Kyle.
This is true. It was never a real segment until now.
And I photoshopped it. Let's
You had time to Photoshop things today.
I used the
at you.
I used the magic wand to select the sky here.
Wow.
On this completely unlicensed photo that I just grabbed off of Google. I'm sure they don't.
I'm sure they don't mind.
I'm
sure we gave them enough credit, right?
Yes.
Which is no credit
Try
at all.
Not to get in trouble.
Nope.
Nobody tell. Anyway, over to Hexus.net for a story about NVIDIA Volta.
Hexus.
Volta is the code. So if you look at this, Jensen standing in front of this massive chart, which is obviously there's some subtext I think to this picture, right? Jensen, big old chart,
just a big going, like a big curve, like coming
that way.
Right
Yeah,
from,
I mean, is that what we're seeing?
Yeah, perhaps.
Anyway.
Yep.
So right now we're on Pascal, and they're like, wow, look how much better Pascal is than all you plebs who have Maxwell.
Yep.
But you can see also in the distance there, in the great beyond 2018-ish timeline, very vague NVIDIA marketing graph, Volta. So Volta is the GPU architecture that's the successor to Pascal. Basically, there's a little tiny bit of information that has come out on this, which is that, and it again comes through just a variety of sources. This is a Hexus.net article, which got the story from Taiwan's DigiTimes, and they got it from the Chinese language commercial time site Commercial Times. How deep does this rabbit hole go? That is as far as it goes. That's where it originated.
That's its ends, starts and ends there.
Anyway, but they're saying that TSMC, Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing Corporation, won the orders from NVIDIA and will be fabricating Volta. Yes, TSMC. It's unprecedented. It's not unprecedented at all. But it's also going to be on a next generation 12 nanometer process, which is small. It's smaller than 14 nanometer.
It's 2 nanometers smaller.
2 nanometers smaller than 14 nanometer. Volta is going to be paired with NVIDIA's Xavier supercomputer SoC, which is a really cool name for... I don't know why there hasn't been a supercomputer called Xavier before. But that's for self-driving car applications. More on self-driving cars later in the show. Look at these tie-ins. Apparently I planned today's show very well. I don't know.
So many...
I'm just feeling that way.
So much foreshadowing.
Anyway, just to give you a brief history, this is from the article, of course. It's excellent reporting here from Hexus.net. The manufacturing process lineage, going back to 2013, was when TSMC began 16 nanometer FinFET. After that, they did 16 nanometer FinFET Plus, and then they went down to the more compact 16 nanometer FFC. So the reason they're pointing this out is that the 12 nanometer chips they're talking about here are actually said through the article. I don't know if this is a lost in translation thing or something like that. They're calling it the 4th generation of improvements to the 16 nanometer process, which is weird. So given those improvements they've made on it since 2013, why they would list a 12 nanometer process to be part of that? So they're theorizing maybe this really is some further refinement of 16 nanometer, but there's some component of the chip, some subcomponent that they are manufacturing at 12 nanometer that allows them to label it 12 nanometer. Anyway, of course, this being the rumor mill, we have no answers for you. It's all speculation. We'll all find all of this out in the future.
I don't like it.
Side note, the article also pointed out that Qualcomm is going to have its Centric 2400 server chips, also made by TSMC, since the article was originally about TSMC. 48 ARM-based processor cores will be in these server chips, and that's going to be based on a 10 nanometer process.
Huh. That's groovy.
It's riveting stuff.
So fast.
All right. The next parts here are this is where my theming falls apart. So ignore the whole rumor mill thing anymore, because this is actually a little bit more towards fact. But EVGA has shown a few more pictures of their GTX 1080 Ti cards, and I just thought I would share them with you guys. Because Kyle and I, we showed you one picture of these last week. Kyle and I saw these at the actual NVIDIA GTX 1080 Ti launch events, and they actually look pretty cool. So this one at the top here, this article's from Tech Report, by the way, is the Black Edition, which I actually really like. But the Black Edition is actually the lower end one. That's the super clocked. So the 1080 Ti SC Black Edition Gaming, because graphics cards are for gaming.
Yeah.
Is a dual fan cooler. It's got a very different. I mean, just the aesthetic. I keep describing it as looking a little bit more organic with these sort of misshapen. I'm sure these are all very optimized holes so that the proper amount of air goes into each one or something like that.
Those holes are actually a feature.
It's not just made to look cool, but it looks kind of like an exoskeleton or something like that.
It's already trademarked by Zotac.
Dual fan cooler. This one does not have all the ICX goodness like the temperatures. It's just got the on-die probe, but hey, we've been living with that for a while, so I'm sure that's fine. Here is the SC2, which is obviously going to be better than the SC2 than the SC, but this is not the Black Edition, so this one's looking a little more silvery.
Lame.
No clock speeds for any of these yet, by the way.
No clock.
But I would assume you just overclock it. It doesn't matter. This is the SC2 Gaming, though. Same cooler as the SC version, but you got the ICX stuff in there, so it's probably that probably also means it would have a redesigned different PCB. 9 thermal sensors, asynchronous fans, 3 LEDs for your GPU memory and power delivery temperatures, and then finally we have the For the Win 3 right here. Look at that. That's
sexy. 3 fans.
A 3-fan cooler. Unprecedented by EVGA.
Mm-hmm.
That's actually correct. This is their first 3-fan cooler.
Yeah.
It's funny in different times when different companies have made 2-fan or 3-fan coolers. I've heard them like talk down on doing it 3-fan. Like if they have a 2-fan cooler, it's like you don't need 3 fans. And then if they make the 3-fan cooler, it's like dude, the 3rd fan. Like obviously
it helps a lot.
It does so many things.
Well, it's like okay, well with the 2 fans you get larger fans because they can just be bigger naturally. But if you get 3 fans, you get additional coverage perhaps, or you just get to say you have a triple fan design, but they're smaller fans too.
Yeah.
You can't fit.
I don't mind triple fan. Actually, one of my favorite GPU designs in recent memory is Gigabyte's GTX 980s and 980 Ti's. They're G1 gaming ones.
The triple fan.
They had a black all-metal shroud.
Mm-hmm.
They had a triple fan cooler. They had 2 versions of it. One was not as well built, but it was still a pretty good cooler. And then they had the other one that was super well built. Kyle might have one right here.
Let me see.
This is the design that they brought back for their 10 series. Although I haven't seen any of those. We talked about it, but I never actually.
So this is the GTX 980. It's not the 980 Ti, unfortunately, but like Paul was saying, full metal construction.
Even that is when they started to go
super beefy
to go the other direction. See, this is when they brought in the short-lived Extreme Gaming. Do they still have Extreme Gaming?
Yeah, they do.
Still have Extreme Gaming.
They do, unfortunately. I don't like the way the new Extreme Gaming cards
Extreme
look.
Gaming and Oris, but
it seems like they took a step backwards with the 10 series.
When they started to do Extreme Gaming, they brought in the orange and whatever.
Yeah.
But the one even before this it's all black, and there's no silver accents on it. This is still a very good card.
Not even heatsink? Oh, you mean just
yeah, the shroud's completely black.
Oh, okay, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
It was pre-RGB. Anyway,
yeah.
I'm completely getting distracted from what we're talking about, which is...
I like how heavy it is, though.
EVGA's graphics cards.
Yeah.
I hope no one from EVGA's watching and they're like, oh, good, they're talking about us, and then we just completely start talking about Gigabyte.
We just love how this one looks.
Well, I did like that design.
Yeah.
Okay. Next up, one more rumor mill story, and again, this is not really a rumor, this is actually an announcement, and when I actually looked at it, I was like, actually, this is something we've seen before, so...
Oh, yeah, I know, I almost did that, and I was like,
Well, for some reason, I thought the one we saw was an X99, and then I went and double-checked, I was like, no, it is what it is, so... Anyway, sure. Another Hexus.net article, this is the ROG Maximus 9 Extreme Z270. We did share this with you guys at CES, if you watched either of our CES coverage. But it's got all this stuff ASUS has been doing, Aura Sync, fancy audio, bunch of safeguards for plugging things in, nothing will explode, tons of connectivity all over the board, as well as this water cooling master thing, that's what they're calling it. Which seems, they're kind of getting into Cooler Master territory here.
The water cooling master thing?
This is what it's labeled as.
The ASUS water cooling master thing?
Yeah. No, water cooling master.
Oh, okay.
I added the thing. The thing was...
I would just love JJ to show up like at a press event. This is the ASUS water cooling master thing.
Water cooling master thing. I see. I see.
All right.
Sorry. Yeah. I see where the confusion came from.
But it is pretty beastly. It's covering what, the VRMs as well, right? Not just the
and
CPU.
the M.2 slot.
Ah, yeah, that's right.
Which they completely, at least JJ and the people who understand it and know what people would say, is totally overkill.
Yeah, you don't need water cooling on.
Some cooling is useful on an M.2 drive. Some of them can throttle in some situations. You don't want to at least have some airflow there. Water cooling it is not really necessary. But hey, you got it there, so you should just do it.
Yeah.
And they threw a Patriot drive. That's a Hellfire.
Yeah, it is.
It's a Hellfire in there. Anyway. So yeah, that's a ROG-styled LCS monoblock, which directly cools your CPU, VRMs, and M.2 slot. Designed, was it EK design? I don't see EK on there, so maybe not. Okay, never mind. We didn't mention EK.
No.
Right?
I don't think so.
I know they've worked with EK before for some of their blocks.
Not on this, apparently.
Anyway, MSRP for this board, from the article, which is a Hexus.net article, was 620 pounds. British, which I put into the old Google Translate and makes $750 but I don't know, could be 700. I honestly, I bet if I looked up a different article on this, they'd have the US MSRP as well. But $750 is what this will cost, which is, my God, a lot of money.
Yeah.
I guess for a really fancy block, a really fancy CPU, GPU, whatever block, or like especially the nicer big mono blocks, $100 to $150-ish for that. It's
insane.
That's still a lot of money. This would make more sense to me on the enthusiast platform. I hope they do something like this with X299.
That would be sweet.
I'm sure they probably will. But
I still would never buy it for that price. But it would seem a tiny bit more justified. I think that wasn't the same block, correct me if I'm wrong, but that's also the same block that has like the auto shut-off feature. It'll detect a leak.
Yeah, it's got the leak detection.
Like, okay. I just wasn't sure if that was the one.
It's these. You can see these little channels around the rings there, and that's something that is pretty fancy. Yeah, they're pretty proud of that. So
it'll basically just power down the whole system if it detects any sort of water within that channel. Those little channels around the inlet and outlet, which is kind of cool.
I would imagine you have options for what to do in that situation, but yeah. Or no, is it a bits power?
Oh, is it? I don't remember bits power.
Doesn't that kind of look like the dragon logo?
Where?
Right there.
Oh, on the little plugs?
On the plug. I don't know.
It's hard to tell.
Whatever. All right.
Might be right.
That's it from my first segment.
Yay!
Hooray! Let's move on to my second segment. Science. I was gonna come up with something fancier for this.
Very creative, Paul.
But then I made this lower thirds, and I was like, "This is beautiful."
That's the same.
I know.
That's the same lower thirds.
We've used it many times
as
before,
VR update.
For some reason, when it just says science, I think it's funny.
It's loosely. All right.
So We're going to try to learn some stuff.
Damn it,
and
Austin.
bear in mind that we know nothing about science. So some of this might be wrong.
Gravity pulls things down.
All right. ARS Technica has an article about the first 3D glimpse of how DNA is packaged into a single cell. And I thought this would be interesting to talk about because even if what I'm saying makes no sense, there's this video I can play which has, look at the pretty colors. Woo! Okay, so researchers have worked out a way to unravel and model the tangled 3D structures of intact mammalian genomes from individual cells.
No, it just looks like a loofah.
Yeah, it kind of looks like a
rainbow
RGB loofah. This could help researchers study how the complex loops, twists, and bunches of a tightly packed genome influence which bits of the blueprints are actively used by cells and when. In humans, genome packaging bundles nearly 2 meters worth of DNA strings into a nucleus about 0.005 millimeters wide. 2 meters of shit. And I'm going to play that again. That was really fun to watch. In 0.005 millimeters.
Screensaver.
That's what all the loopy things are right there. Here's a quote from Tom Collins, a molecular scientist who was quoted in the article.
Love him.
This detail will reveal some of the underlying principles that govern the organization of our genomes, for example, how chromosomes interact or how structure can influence whether genes are switched on or off. If we can apply this method to cells with abnormal genomes, such as cancer cells, we may be able to better understand what exactly goes wrong to cause disease and how we could develop solutions to correct this.
God damn it, Tom.
That's pretty classic Tom, of
Classic
course.
Tom.
But really inspires you for potential the future of the human race and all that. All that good stuff. Anyway, I actually did read this whole article, and if you're interested in a few more of the details of how they did this, the article does describe that. I'm not going to go into that because I think we're limited in our ability to talk about DNA strands in the human genome, even though this is the science segment. Science.
No, I'm pretty sure they just gave like a 3-year-old a crayon and was like, "Here, just doodle for a while," and they just presented that to their team. Like, all right, this is what it is.
They just wrote this entire article on this breakthrough that they did, but really it's just like completely nonsense. See, so that's where science. That's what's happened, with the lack of scientific review these days. Peer review and all that stuff.
It's exchanged for a sense of humor.
All right, SpaceX.
Yay!
This is somewhat vaguely related to science. I like talking about SpaceX because I like their mission to populate Mars. I think it's cool. Anyway, early this morning, today is the 14th, at least it still is here in the U.S., SpaceX was supposed to launch a rocket. Wow, that's already happening. Yeah. I did 5 shots in the live stream that I did on Sunday.
Did you?
Yeah.
Nice.
I think I held up okay.
Nice.
But I definitely
feeling it.
Midway, 3/4 of the way through, I did start switching consonants in words and that kind of thing.
Nice.
It's good times.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway,
makes it more lively.
It was supposed to launch early this morning. It was supposed to be carrying a really heavy satellite, EchoStar 23 communications satellite. I was going to launch from Cape. Sorry, I'm getting all choked up.
And it's very emotional.
It's going to launch from Cape Canaveral, Florida. It's been delayed due to cloudy skies and high winds, which are dangerous for rocket launches. I understand that. That makes perfect sense. This is SpaceX's second launch from the Kennedy Space Center Launch Complex 39A. I need water. God damn it.
Hydrate, Paul.
I have so much stuff to talk about this episode. I'm getting too excited.
You get a little too worked up over SpaceX, I think it just excites you a little too much. All this talk about rockets and...
Who wouldn't get excited over SpaceX?
Yeah. Clearly not me.
I'm into SpaceX all the time.
I know. You're space sexy.
Thank you. All right.
SpaceX appeal.
Back to my story. So this is their second launch from the Kennedy Space Center Launch Complex 39A, historic launch site. EchoStar 23, the satellite they're going to be launching, weighs 6 tons, and they also need to put it at really a high altitude orbit, which means they need to use more fuel, and they're not going to have enough fuel to bring this Falcon 9 rocket back home and land it.
Yeah.
No, they're not.
No.
It's going to die.
Oh, jeez.
This Falcon 9 rocket is giving its life for the EchoStar 23 satellite.
It's a
noble mission.
Very brave.
SpaceX to date has recovered 8 of their Falcon 9 boosters in various land and sea-based re-landings after launching satellites into space, or near Earth orbit at least. And they are planning to finally relaunch one of those reused satellites kind of soon, later this month, on a satellite delivery mission for Luxembourg-based SES. So
what's SES?
Space
Exploration
Systems. Satellites.
I'm positive that that's the correct
yes.
acronym.
Obviously.
Yeah.
Clearly, Kyle.
SES. It's like the follow-up to NES, you know, like
yeah.
Super Nintendo. No, wait, that was SNES. Damn it.
So yeah, so we'll see how SES likes their sloppy seconds.
Yeah.
Okay. One more story here in science. This one is actually science related to technology, so that's just more evidence of how awesome my show planning was today. This is about magnetic storage and it reaching the atomic level. So right now, we have electron-based storage, especially if you're talking about NAND flash storage.
Mm-hmm.
The way that this works, and again, we got some science coming at you right now. I'm going to try to read this. That's why I wrote all this down, so I made sure that I could actually repeat it. Right now, our best electron-based magnetic storage technology uses clusters of 3 to 12 atoms to store information, a data state, a 0 or a 1.
Okay.
Last week, scientists demonstrated the ability to magnetically store data in a single frickin' atom.
Huh.
Atoms here are represented by these pastel-colored floppy disks.
Okay.
Anyway, to quickly explain magnetic storage, the electrons that are used in magnetic storage carry a magnetic dipole. They have a magnetic dipole that is determined by the direction the electron spins and the shape of the path the electron travels. This is actually referred to as quantum mechanical spin and orbital angular momentum, just to be specific. And if you're a science person and you understand those words,
you are smart.
You're smart. There are only two directions that the electron can spin, either up or down, and so this is how they actually use those two states to actually store the information. The two stable equilibrium states, up or down, provide magnetic bistability. Bistability.
So many new words.
Magnetic bistability. Bistability.
It's like you're sexually. No wait.
Magnetic bistability.
Not sexually. Stably. Bistability. I don't know what that means.
It's very sexy.
Sorry.
That's the point I think you're trying to get at.
Yep.
Anyway, so since they have two stable equilibrium states, then having a bit stored indefinitely usually involves a cluster of atoms so that they can have multiple electrons, or multiple atoms that are all set to the same state. That provides more of a signal because there's more electrons involved, ensuring that the bit is maintained even if any given atom doesn't maintain stability, because atoms, they're not going to always maintain stability. Anyway, these scientists worked with holmium atoms. HO. H-O is the periodic table. HO. So they worked with the HO atoms. They supported the HO atoms on a magnesium oxide, or MgO. So the HOs were on the MgO, and applied current pulses to the HO atoms with a scanning, tunneling microscope to switch the direction of the magnetic movements.
Sounds like a Snoop Dogg song.
Yeah. They validated the actual state that the atom was in by putting an iron atom next to it to act as kind of like a little compass to point at whether or not it was actually working.
Okay.
And they were able to store a bit of data in a single atom. I guess is the whole point of this article. I feel like I'm getting long-winded. But it only maintained its state for a few hours. So you're not going to see like new fancy SSDs based on this anytime soon.
Can you overclock your atoms?
If
they have bistability, does that mean they're twice as stable?
These are excellent questions.
Yes.
Yes, I'm going to say yes.
I'm going to tweet Neil deGrasse Tyson right now.
Yeah, Neil deGrasse Tyson should be able to help.
Surely he'll know.
All right. Let's move on to Sword Fight.
Yay!
Sword Fight.
Oh,
the regular segments that everyone knows and loves.
What are we arguing today?
This is a special sword fight. I have a special sword fight this week. I'm calling this a sword fight dual wield.
Dual
segment.
wield?
Yes, this is a dual wield sword fight.
Two dicks in the hand.
This is, again, unprecedented. It's
Okay.
never happened before.
Woo!
Basically, I've taken what we usually do in sword fight is we take a very contentious, controversial subject, topic, or question, we argue about it, and we settle it once and for all. based on your votes from you guys at home.
And scientific fact.
And scientific fact, of course. What we're going to do today is take both of those questions and combine them into a super topic, and each of us are going to have to grasp that topic by the base in order to
gotta bring my
use it in combat against each other with verbal assaults and probably a fair amount of sexual tension. Anyway, since we've already talked a little bit about self-driving cars and we're going to talk more about self-driving cars, these are all going to be questions about self-driving cars. That's technology, and this is a technology show.
That is a self-driving subject.
It's completely valid.
Yes.
So, some very basic questions, but with, of course, deep and far-reaching implications. And I'm of course pasting these into chat right now. Although I've completely lost.
Do you need me to paste it into something? Into YouTube?
YouTube chat? I just pasted it into both.
Oh.
Because I'm so on top of this.
Wait, so you're posting both straw polls into chat?
Yeah, both straw polls are going up right now.
Okay.
I'm posting both straw polls.
I thought you would somehow merged both polls into one poll.
No.
It's a
there are two straw polls.
Sword fight.
So you do need to click on both of those links that were just posted into the chats on both YouTube and Twitch.
All right.
If you want to weigh in on this and influence possibly
double down
the fate of the world. So, first off, just basically out there, and this is to gauge your feelings as well, how excited should people be for self-driving cars? Because you hear it from all sides. You hear the excitement, people. Because I mean, there's, you know, I'm not even gonna delve into that. We'll do that when we actually answer.
Yeah.
That. So you got super excited, not excited, or you know, somewhere in between.
Meh.
Finally, how long will it be until self-driving cars are everywhere? Because it's gonna happen. Everywhere you look, this is gonna happen. Unless society itself collapses, which I mean, I guess that's a possibility too. But how long is this going to take? We got everything from 5 to 25 years, or 30 plus if you think it's going to be a slower pace. Both of those questions we must combine into a super answer for each of us. So this also means you have the advantage, of course.
Who, me?
Since I sprung this dual wield sword fight on you at the last minute,
I get to go first.
You usually get to pick on the first question the answer.
Oh, now I get to pick on both.
Since you got to pick,
it's only one.
Actually, no. Fuck that.
What?
You pick this first. All right.
Okay.
How excited should people be?
I'm gonna say, man. Okay. I don't agree with any of these.
Really?
Well,
I think I have yes, no, or in the middle. Like, what more do you want?
I think I personally think it's complicated. And I think
there's complexity to it.
But I think
it doesn't matter. We have to solve that. Right now.
Okay.
We have to
just for the sake of argument.
We have to pave over it with the cement of uniformity.
I'm gonna say super duper excited. Okay, I think self-driving cars are the future.
Hold that thought.
Okay.
Hold that thought.
Right.
Now, how long? Now, I'm obviously
8 inches.
He picked super excited, so obviously.
Oh, right.
I gotta go with not excited at all.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Now, how long? And I get to pick first here.
Okay.
And I'm gonna play the odds here. Probably, you know, I can argue this too, but I'm gonna say 15 years. I'm gonna go with the 15 right there. Clearly, obviously.
So then, how does the arguing work from here? Do I argue my first point?
You'll still argue first. You still get to go first.
Okay.
Okay, but you need to.
I need to choose one of these. Yeah. I'm gonna say 10 years.
10 years.
I'm gonna say a decade.
I was going for 10 years.
Yes.
Everyone, please click the links. Also being provided by Cell Processing in chat. Also, big shout out to Cell Processing for being our awesome moderator.
Thanks, Cell.
He does a great job.
Cell's the best.
He's also now a moderator in my YouTube channel.
Nice.
Although I told him he didn't have to do anything there because YouTube can be a little, crazy.
You need like 30 mods for
crazy
YouTube.
With the chats.
30 mods for every Twitch mod.
All right, so what's your argument here?
I'm gonna say super excited because I mean, come on, driving's a drag. Unless you're going on like a road trip where that's like the point is to drive. Driving is just a means to get to the place you really want to go. I know they say like, it's not the destination, it's the journey. Fuck that. It's the destination. I mean, you go to Disneyland, come back from Disneyland, man, the ride to Disneyland was amazing. And we got there, and then, whatever. No, you're talking about the day at Disneyland. So, what I'm saying is...
The ride at Disneyland that drove you around.
The ride at Disneyland is way more important.
Why am I
clearly. See, so also, as technology advances, we get more devices that can do more things, more mobile devices that are more compact, portable, easy to carry around. The Nintendo Switch just came out. I would love to be able to play like a Nintendo Switch handheld on my way to your place every other Tuesday for Awesome Hardware with an autonomous vehicle. No, because the only time I would ever use it is probably in mobile mode. Because when I'm at home,
you're not getting a Switch until you get an autonomous car, is what you're saying.
Exactly. I would have much more use for like a handheld gaming device if I did not have to drive. I mean, it would just take care of so many things. There are so many things that you can do, so many other ways you can be productive with your time other than driving. I think driving is kind of like sleeping in a way. Sleeping is a waste of time. Yeah, and if you can afford it, don't sleep. You know? It's relaxing, but it doesn't get you anywhere.
It's annoying too.
Driving can be sort of relaxing, but it can also be stressful. So I guess depending on where you live. We're in LA, so we're kind of cursed with that. But it's never productive, unless you're talking in terms of like actually getting to where you want to be. But that's besides the point. The point is you can do both. You can get to where you want to be while doing something else entirely with the help of autonomous driving. And I think that is the future. We're constantly trying to push ourselves as humans, trying to do more with less time, because all of our days are numbered, so to speak. So if we can find a way to do more with the same amount of time, then I am all for it. I think that is eventually the truth that everyone will see. So 10 years, I think 10 years is probably fair. I think Tesla's has already made a lot of headway, or no, a lot of traction with that. I think 10 years is probably going to be when we start seeing at least 50-50, where half the cars on the road are self-driving, the other half, or at least have some sort of self-driving technology built into them, even on like the entry level tier of certain vehicles. I think we're going to see self-driving start to really blossom very soon. Yep.
That was a good show, Blossom.
Never saw it.
Really? Before your time.
Man.
Okay, so
Zed,
I thought you were going to completely forget the 10-year thing. You
Nope.
you snuck it in there right at the end. I had a rebuke ready. I was going to give you a really hard time. But nope. All right, that's fine.
Sorry.
That's fine.
Now you got to change your strategy.
You're worthy.
You got to switch up your gameplay. Yeah.
So, all right. Obviously, I am arguing the opposite of what Kyle argued, because self-driving cars are terrible. No one should be excited about them, and in fact, people should be the least amount of excitedness possible. In fact, going into negative excitedness, if that is something that they're capable of, because self-driving cars are going to lead to the end of humanity and the destruction of all of mankind. Because let's start short term. Like, obviously, this is all going to go down in about the next 15 years. Because in about 15 years, you know what I never did? I never explained the more specific what I meant by how long it will be. I just forget you have a touchscreen too.
It's a little important.
I did have a specification there.
To be
which
specific,
doesn't matter now.
It says a mass-produced autonomous car can be purchased for under $40,000, and the regulations and technology are integrated into most major roads. That's what you meant by.
That's what I meant.
At what point?
And
okay.
I meant to specify that, and I put it in the show doc, and then I forgot. How did I forget?
And you were counting on you were banking on the fact that I would forget my half of the argument. Instead, you forgot the whole question.
Not the whole question. That's a sub point. That's not the whole question.
Defines the question.
No idea how I forgot that.
You asked.
I don't know what could have influenced my memory.
Clearly, no one can trust whatever argument you're about to say now, as your memory is faulty.
It doesn't matter. You didn't argue on that point, so I'm not going to go that way.
Bad DRAM.
I'm not going to go that way either. So, in about 15 years' time, we're basically going to see a sea change in the automotive industry and in the transportation industry. And of course, it's going to be spearheaded by autonomous cars, because autonomous cars are the simplest way to introduce autonomy. We already have autonomy in a lot of situations. You look at mass transport situations that they have in major cities, but those only work because they're built in a very small area that's able to service a lot of people. Autonomous cars are going to be everywhere because the roads, by and large, all over the world are already in place, and you just need the vehicles that are able to drive on them. It's going to happen. The technology is there. All of the all the largest tech companies, and we're going to talk about this in a minute when we get to the news segments, Intel included, have invested in some way in autonomous driving. It is going to happen. 15 years out is the right amount of time because that's the amount of time it's going to take to get past the regulations. It might be even a little bit beyond there before we see like everyone using autonomous cars everywhere. But the biggest drawback to this in the immediate future is going to be the number of jobs that are lost because so many jobs are already in transportation. I think it's something like 40 to 50% of jobs are involved with transportation. Once those jobs go out the window, people aren't going to be able to make any money. And basically, you're looking like a zombie situation where you have tons of people who are zombies who feed on the flesh of the living.
What?
Hold on. I took a right turn there. Let's step back. Not zombies, but you're going to have people who don't have jobs.
Are you calling unemployed people zombies, Paul?
No. That's why I reeled it in. I was like, no. See, you got to understand the logic train. When the logic train gets going full force, sometimes, the tracks got to be switched.
Yep.
This metaphor is obviously digging me out of this small hole that I've dug myself to. Anyway, the whole point is you're going to have people losing jobs. But beyond that, you're going to have autonomous vehicles that eventually creates sort of a mesh network, like some sort of superhuman, not human, super brain, hive mind type thing. And then they're all going to basically kill all humans, and robots are going to take over. Elon Musk and all that stuff. Okay.
Elon Musk, etc.
Yeah, that's what he's afraid of. AI. AI is very scary. That's the point I'm trying to get at. Anyway, that was a very odd. Whatever.
Nice transition.
I was trying to mix things up. Let's just see what you guys thought. How excited should people be? Most of you guys don't seem to care one way or another.
Meh.
And 38% of you are super excited. So Kyle.
That was a tie. It was a tie for first. Meh and super excited.
Actually, meh wins by one vote.
By one vote. Okay.
How much does it win by?
Meh.
So meh wins by one vote, but still between the two of ours that we argued for, Kyle wins that one. And then as far as this,
I was right.
That's what I'm curious about.
10 years.
Oh my god!
Ho ho ho!
Wow.
You got your ass double-handed to you.
I thought the dual wield.
I shanked you with two swords at the same time.
I thought dual wield was
one in
going
your
to be
face,
my forte.
One in your pee-pee.
Looks like I'm.
I made a Paul kebab.
I guess I'm better at handling one big sword than two small ones.
Yeah, your single core is much stronger than your multi-core performance. I will say, your multi-threaded dick performance is lacking.
Trying to make dick jokes, I guess.
Yep. That's how we roll.
I feel like my half of the show is going rapidly downhill. Fine, we started strong. That's what really matters. We came out of the gate, and now it's just sort of devolving into wait.
Isn't that what happens every week, though?
Yeah.
Every week's yeah. By the end, it's we're gonna eat dinner now.
It's I'm glad I read all those words earlier in the show.
Try to make sense of them later.
Yeah. All right, we do have a few more to talk about. A little bit more discussion about Ryzen. Are we talking about Ryzen on your half of the show at all, Kyle?
Yeah, slightly.
Okay, a little bit more on Kyle's half of the show, of course. But of course, Ryzen launched a week and a half ago, and we've discussed it quite a bit because it's not been everything's daisies at launch, but I think overall, and this was played out in our poll that we did last week as well. Overall, it's been a successful launch. There's a little bit of discussion to talk about when it comes to games, and AMD, for their part, has done some community updates, and they seem to be talking to people quite a bit. So this is posted by Robert Hollock, who's one of their main tech guys, and also deals with the public and the media. And they're answering quite a few questions in this article. And I just wanted to run down some of those answers that they had provided.
Okie dokie.
For you guys. And you guys can judge them however you will. So first off, the thread scheduling thing, which was speculated as being a potential reason why the Ryzen 1080 gaming performance was not equivalent to what you're getting on Intel's side. It seemed to perform less than what you were getting with the scores compared to Intel with other non-gaming stuff. AMD believes that the Windows 10 thread scheduler is operating properly for Zen. That is what they say right now. PC Perspective did some testing earlier this week that they released that also sort of seem to indicate that as well. There has been the other side, though, that says that's not really true. I have seen some criticisms of some of this, but AMD, I believe, attempted to address those as well. They reviewed topology logs generated by sysinternal's Core Info, which is a software utility. They determined that an outdated version of the application originated the incorrect topology data that has been widely reported. If you use Core Info version 3.31 or later, then you will see the correct results. So they're basically saying the software was improperly reporting. Now, I have not had enough time to do the extensive enough research to look at some of the people who have been testing with this, because what they're talking about is like SMT, Windows scheduling, how Windows is looking at the processor and how it is using the processor, distinguishing not just between cores and threads, but also between the CCX complexes that the processor is made of. Each CCX complex is 4 of the cores in the processor and 8 megs of the L3 cache. And then you combine that together. So anyway, AMD also said, finally, we have reviewed the limited available evidence concerning performance deltas between Windows 7 and Windows 10 on the AMD Ryzen CPU. We do not believe there is an issue with scheduling differences between the two versions of Windows. Any differences in performance can be more likely attributed to software architecture differences between those OSs. And indeed, they did list a variety of games, and there are some games that get a pretty decent performance boost when they're tested with Windows 7 versus Windows 10. But there are other games that don't, and there are other games that perform worse. So, again, it's sort of muddled, and it's difficult to exactly look in there and say exactly here is the cause. I think what's really the point is that they're trying to get at is if you thought like, hey, this one caveat that all the reviews that tested it have had to say about Ryzen's performance with gaming, particularly in CPU limited situations with gaming, like lower resolutions like 1080, this could all be fixed by some magic bullet, which would be like a Windows 10 scheduler update. They're basically saying, no, that's not the case. And that seems to be playing out from some of the reviews and stuff like the PC perspective testing and whatnot. That's not to say that there's nothing that can be done to fix some of that gaming performance. And they talk again more specifically about working with some of the developers of games, and doing some more specific coding to that's Ryzen friendly, I guess is what you might say.
Have you seen that one video? It's just some guy who's got like just a few hundred subscribers or whatever, just some random guy who's testing Ryzen, but he has like some application open that shows the like utilization of which threads on which CCX are being taxed, and he fires up some like random synthetic benchmark a couple different times, and every time he does it, you can see 2 of the threads firing up on, like, let's say like first it'll do on the first run maybe 2 threads on one CCX are firing up, which is pretty much how it's supposed to be intended, and then he'll fire up the same application. But that time, like, you'll see one thread go up on one CCX and another thread go up on another CCX. So like it's like randomized or whatever. So
again, please forgive me if my lack of research has me getting this answer wrong. But from my understanding, AMD's response was to that. I don't know about that specifically, but some of the testing about that, and they're referring to that software that's being used to monitor the cores.
I see.
And they're saying that the software wasn't reporting accurately.
Oh yeah, it might have been, but I don't know if it was Core Info v3.31 or not.
I am not sure either.
Double check.
But again, I don't know for sure, so I don't want to go into that further.
Okay.
But if you guys want to find out, we've sort of laid the groundwork, so I'm sure web searching and that kind of thing could get you a little bit closer. A couple more things. They mentioned temperature reporting, and specifically the 1700X and 1800X carry a plus 20 degrees Celsius offset between the TCTL, which is the temperature control that's reported, and the actual TJ Max temperature. In the short term, users of AMD Ryzen 1700X and 1800X can simply subtract 20 degrees Celsius to determine the true junction temperature of their processor. The 1700, however, is not affected by this. This seemed really weird to me. But it also explains, at least for me, if this is also what's being reported by Ryzen Master, this explains to me why
You were getting really...
Why my 1700 looked like it was running so much cooler than my 1800X and my and my 1700X.
Yeah.
Because it was significant, and I was like, that seems weird. The overclocking didn't play out. I wasn't able to suddenly overclock it more for some reason.
Yeah.
But it did look like it was running much cooler. Since it was so early and everything, I didn't really read into it that much. I was like, oh, the temps that are being read are probably just inaccurate. But
Well, yeah, I remember when I was testing my 1800X, I was also seeing temperatures in the 70s, 80s, but like I would touch the Noctua cooler that was on it, and it would hardly be warm.
Mm-hmm.
I'd be like, it's showing 80 degrees Celsius. It should be like borderline, like, ooh, I shouldn't be touching this. It's hot, and it was like perfectly, like almost ambient.
Yeah, so you could tell. You could tell
there was
by
something going on
how much
there.
heat was being put out that it seemed like it was registering hotter than what it was. So, again, waiting on a lot of the software utilities to be updated to work properly with that, and I imagine that now that the chips are actually out and everything, that hopefully that will happen soon.
That was actually one of my stories.
Oh, okay, cool.
But now it's not.
AMD's still recommending using high performance power mode in Windows 10. That's something that Windows would be really nice to have a Windows update for people who are not as up with technology and who do get a Ryzen based system. You don't always know to do that, and that does definitely.
Wait, what are you saying? That there should be an update that just forces it?
Using high performance power mode, or either that provides, because using high performance power mode, what does it do? What's it do?
Well, I know
it turns core parking off, and it allows a fast frequency change. It reduces the amount of time for the processor switching between power states, which is pretty important, and it has been shown in benchmarks to improve performance. Just saying, to make the normal power mode do that too.
Oh, right. Yes.
So that it just happens. So the
balance mode or whatever.
The processor can work how it's designed without needing you to go and change any Windows settings. They also acknowledged SMT, simultaneous multi-threading performance differences. It does also vary a lot between titles, whether it's on, whether it's off. There are very limited situations where turning SMT on can lead to less performance than with it off. They didn't address the CCX allocation thing that we already kind of talked about a little bit. So that's something that people, like some of the comments and everything, were still sort of complaining about. So maybe there'll be more information about that. But they did address a decent number of questions that people have been asking, although all the questions are not answered. Let's leave it at that. All right, a few more quick news topics to talk about. Here's a new Gigabyte product. Wanted to show it really quick. You guys have seen stuff like it before.
Is that the Razer Core?
No, it's not the Razer Core, but it is yet another external GPU enclosure. It's actually the Aorus GTX 1070 Thunderbolt XConnect box.
Why does this picture look so horrible?
I don't know, because it's
taken off of a Nokia.
Taken off of like
flip phone or something.
Selfie cam on the Nokia flip phone. Yeah, that's a pretty crappy picture. This is another Hexus article, though.
Yep.
This was showed off at PAX East just this past weekend. It has Thunderbolt 3. They're shipping it with a GTX 1070 Mini pre-installed. I don't know what I think about that.
A 1070 Mini?
A 1070 Mini.
Oh, okay. I was just testing that card this week. That's a good card.
Okay. Oh, that's what that is right there, isn't it?
Where? Yes, in the box. Yeah.
Okay.
And it's also in the system that's right above your head. The little one.
Right there.
Yeah.
Oh, because that's your February build.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, it's a good card, but why do you feel kind of on the fence about it?
Just because buying an external box, I'd want to buy the box and buy the card. I mean, if you get a significant discount for buying them both, then perhaps. But
so then they're not offering
What if I wanted a 1080? Maybe they'll offer a 1080 version. Maybe they'll offer it a la carte. Again, I wanted to only gloss over this story because there's not enough information for it to be more interesting. It's a 450 watt power supply now, which is up from what they originally debuted, which is a 250 watt, and there's no price or launch date, so limits the amount of discussion.
Yeah.
Okay. ZTE, which is the second largest telecom equipment manufacturer in China, has been hit by a record $1.2 billion fine from the U.S. government. This is from The Verge. ZTE pled guilty, so this isn't like something that's like the U.S. is accusing and they're saying no. They have pled guilty to this. The charges are violating U.S. sanctions against both Iran and North Korea. Iran, from 2000 to 2016, they say ZTE conspired to evade America's embargo. There's nothing very interesting to show here.
Really quick, in chat, I've been notified that it is our good buddy and pal's Crafty Hack's birthday tomorrow.
Crafty
so
Hack.
Very much a happy birthday to you, Crafty. Crafty's
birthday,
actually
Crafty.
the one who let me borrow that NCase M1. That's his.
Oh, cool.
He just shipped it to me, like, no questions asked. Keep it as long as you want, and that's why February's PC of the Month was able to happen.
Yeah.
So happy birthday to you, Crafty. And I was also informed that it's One with a Beard's birthday as well. One with a Beard is... I think he's British, so that's why we like him. He's got a British accent, and we play games with him occasionally, H1Z1 and the like. It's his birthday today, I believe, if I remember correctly from chat. So happy birthday to both of you.
So many birthdays.
You're both old.
Spring babies. Is it spring? It's spring now, right?
Well, I saw in chat,
It's only Crafty's
One
birthday.
with a Beard said that it was his birthday today. But I could have misread it. But thank you for notifying. I see the little note you left under the door, too.
There's a note.
We have someone working behind the scenes.
What's happening?
My wife. She reminded me that it was Crafty's birthday with she slipped a note under the door.
Oh, that's what that is.
I heard some wrestling. I was like, what the F is that? And I just saw fingers underneath the door. I was like, oh, that's not the cat.
Can you slip
That's my wife.
her a note back that tells her to not interrupt my half of the show?
Do we still have that dildo?
Just
She just sees like a penis creep from underneath the door.
I mean, that would really drive the message home.
I think so.
I guess.
Hopefully.
Okay.
All right.
So,
anyway,
back to what we were talking about, which was
Beer's
ZTE getting fined $1.2 billion.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's a lot of money.
They conspired to evade America's embargo from 2010 to 2016. That's with Iran. And then they also are charged with making 283 shipments of equipment, including servers and routers, to North Korea. ZTE officials repeatedly lied and misled federal investigators.
They have internet in North Korea?
Yes, they do. It's a very limited number of websites they have access to.
Why do they need servers?
They repeatedly lied and misled federal investigators over the 5-year investigation. The break came when the U.S. seized a laptop belonging to a ZTE lawyer that contained a trove of documents outlining the company's illegal sales. ZTE faces an immediate fine of $892 million and is on the hook for a further $300 million in future penalties.
Wow.
Now, the weirdest thing about this story when I read it was like, wow, that's a lot of money. That's like really a substantial amount of money. Like.
Is it a lot for ZTE?
But that's what I was like. ZTE, as I read about in there, it seems like they're like, yeah, we're sorry about this. Okay, yeah, we're sorry, and here's the money. Okay, all right, now we're gonna go back to doing business. I'm like, really?
Yeah.
Like $1.2 billion doesn't like
make a dent.
Yeah.
Like put you a couple rings down the ladder or something.
I'm sure it hurts their bottom line or something like that. But geez, being able to pay a $1.2 billion fine.
Gnarly.
My God.
Just a flesh wound.
Yeah.
Wow.
In a related story, Huawei is also under investigation, and they're apparently the largest telecommunications
in China
manufacturer, I think, in the world.
Oh wow!
Because they have a lot of sub-brands.
I guess if you're the biggest in China, you're probably the biggest in the world too.
So they're also under investigation, but that's not to say they're under investigation regarding some stuff from Iran, North Korea, Sudan, Syria, and Cuba. Anyway,
speaking of billions of dollars, our next story has to do with a lot of money.
Yes. Final story for today. Intel has paid is going to pay $15 billion to buy out Mobileye, which is an autonomous car technology company. Yeah. So they're planning to acquire Mobileye, $15 billion. This will make them a pivotal contender in the race to build robotic cars, autonomous cars, which we've already talked about. It's been somewhat of a running theme in today's show. So well planned with running themes.
Woo!
This is the second largest buyout ever by Intel. Although I don't know what their first largest is. I feel like I should, but I don't. This is also the largest ever autonomous car company buyout, indicating that there certainly is a lot of hype and a lot of stuff going on in the marketplace, and that this is probably going to be a pretty huge industry that's growing up over the next few years, probably 15 years.
At least 10. I'd say no more than 10.
More likely 15.
10.
But Mobileye was founded in 1999. They're based in Israel. They provide sensors, processing hardware, and software to automakers so that their cars can see the world around them. They're working with Audi, General Motors, and Ford. They more recently have been doing some promotional stuff with BMW, working with them. They're going to be this partnership. And Intel in general is going to be a formidable competitors to chip makers like NVIDIA and Qualcomm. I'm glad it's coming to my end of the show. I'm beginning to lose my ability to speak. Who, of course, are already in the robotic car space. Incidentally, Mobileye was also working with Tesla and used for their Tesla autopilot, but then there was a fatal Tesla crash. And I believe Elon Musk and maybe Tesla as a whole sort of said, like, oh, it was the Mobileye software, like they blame Mobileye on it.
Yeah.
So they don't work together anymore, apparently. So there's just some drama for you in the autonomous car space. Mobileye is one of several companies developing computational systems that can program themselves. AI. Thinking computers, learning machines.
Sounds sketchy.
And they will be tested in BMW vehicles later this year. Yay.
So basically Skynet in our day and age will start with autonomous
yes.
vehicles.
Vehicles that can decide that humans are bad and come and run us all over, or that kind of thing. Like, right?
Run us into brick walls.
Yeah, well, I mean, it gives them a vast amount of power to have an AI that's a car. I mean, think about like a plane or something like that. That's ridiculous. Yeah.
Self-driving planes. When's that gonna happen?
I don't know. Hopefully
never.
Yeah. Okay. Is
that it?
Let's check. Yeah, that's all I have for plans and material for my half of the show.
Right on the money.
I've completely lost how to find my
donations.
My donation things.
Your donations.
Has Sel been collecting them? Is he awesome?
Did you?
He has.
Yay!
Sel, you're freaking awesome.
You're a lifesaver. Bruh.
Incidentally, this work you have been doing has been pretty much supplanted by YouTube's new system with the super chat. But since I can't since I don't know where that super chat window is,
due to user error, we still need you.
Yes, so you're still very, very useful. All right. Yota Ninja, $50 donation. Thank you so much for that. Oh, look, they updated the donation thing, so different amounts are different colors. Cool. LOL, been a while since I donated. Here you go. And
nice.
The $50 donation was sort of a nice magenta hue.
So if you donate at least $50 or more, your donation is put in a red color with red background text.
No, that's sort of a pink. They're red. Red starts at $100.
Oh, red starts at $100?
Yep.
So this is a sort of a pink magenta. Looks like it.
Magenta.
You are the only magenta in today's donations.
Hey,
Ninja. So congratulations.
Yep. You get special thanks. You get the reach around. Automatic Matt donated $10. Hey guys, back from PAX. You guys got to go next year. I would like to go to a PAX. I haven't been for a couple of years.
Me too.
Hope the weather's better where you were at, and congrats, Paul, on the milestone. Thank you so much.
Yes.
Recently hit 500K. That
was awesome.
Any videos on custom loop upkeep coming in the future? My God, Automatic Matt. Yes. Because I totally tore down Arctic Panther yesterday and this morning, and I have a video in the works going over that. Because it was super clogged up, and my CPU temps were getting into the 90s.
Really?
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Well, it's been...
How did you know? Did it start shutting down?
Because I was like rendering. Well, no, I checked it. I've been checking. Like for the first, I'd say good year plus. I'd be like, I have a water cooled computer. You're supposed to like look at those things and do things to them. And then I pull up and look at the temperatures while I was rendering or something. I'd be like, oh, it's hitting like 56.
Yeah. Like
it's fine, whatever. So I kept doing that, and it's only in the past like month or two. I don't remember when it was. I was rendering a video. And I was like, I feel like the fans are running pretty hot. I pulled it up. I was like, oh shit, 91 on the hottest core.
Holy shit.
So yeah, the additive that I had put in there was definitely causing some gumminess in the works. But honestly, it ran for a very long amount of time before it got clogged up to that amount. So I would say I would put the user error on me, because you're really supposed to do maintenance on a custom loop.
Do some maintenance.
Yeah. More frequently, and that was running for quite a while.
Well, I'm a little worried, because I haven't done any maintenance. Although Hotline has sprung a leak or two in the last few months, so I had to kind of drain the loop and refill it. So maybe that sort of reset things a little bit. I don't know if it would clear out any clog, because I had to bleed the system and stuff. But I have not checked
the micro fins on the CPU and GPU blocks. That's the one thing I didn't do. All right, I'll talk about it in the video.
Okay.
But yeah, it's you should
but
at least keep an eye on your temperature.
It hasn't been getting super loud.
Okay.
So, no red flag so far.
$10 from Star Wars Ramblings. USB devices crashing randomly when I use OBS. Reinstalled all drivers. Tweaked power settings. Flashed newest motherboard BIOS. Still persisting. Computer is haunted. Send help. USB devices crashing when I use OBS.
Wait. What do you mean USB devices crashing? Like it's crashing your operating system?
Like
when you plug if you have OBS up and you plug in a USB drive, your system crashes or it halts. Make sure everything's updated. He says he's using
reinstalled all drivers. Sometimes like specific USB controllers on motherboards have updated drivers, like it's like the add-on ones that are different random chips from like a ASMedia or something like that.
Yeah.
Sometimes those have more obscure drivers that you can find directly from the website that the USB controller manufacturer makes. That's kind of what I would point to, just because you do seem to be having sort of a unique situation. My guess would be it's when you're using OBS, it's trying to reach out to like capture devices or something like that are connected via USB. But that's very strange.
Test it on a different computer. Try to eliminate certain factors and troubleshoot it more.
That's rough though. I've definitely had mysterious situations like that with computers before, and it can often be a long process of troubleshooting to try to narrow down what it is.
Yeah.
But anyway,
also,
thank you for the
try different USB ports too.
Yeah.
Because that could narrow down which driver is the problem.
Yeah, and definitely get a map of what USB ports on your motherboard go where, so you know what you're plugging into, whether it's a native USB port that's controlled by the chipset or whether it's an add-on one, because that can help you narrow it down. Anyway, Terminal 206, $10 donation, thank you. Hey guys, 7700K, R7 or R5. I mainly game use Photoshop, Audacity, and rarely video editing. Also leave several windows open at once. Want to use my 4K TV as a monitor and will use at least a GTX 1080. I would say, since you do have a bit of more diverse usage than just gaming, give some serious thought to a 1700.
Yeah. That
will cost you about $330. Or I would say at least if you can wait a few weeks, we're not really sure, but a few weeks, maybe a month or two is most, I would imagine, before R5s come out. Mm-hmm. And there's supposed to be some 6 cores in there, and you might be able to get something a little bit more affordable 6 core that could be a nice sort of combination for what you need and not to have to spend quite as much money. If you can afford $330 for a 1700, I'd say go for it right now.
Totally worth it for what you're using it for.
Motherboard might be a little bit hard to come by. Those are kind of in short supply right now, but hopefully that will be solved soon.
You forgot Shadowfx.
I did?
Above terminal.
Oh my god, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
$10 from Shadowfx. Thank you for that. Just wanted to say thank you guys. Because of your videos, my first PC build was 100% pure success. Was super nervous to do it, but y'all's videos really helped me out. Love y'all. We love you too, Shadowfx. Thank you so much.
Congrats on the first build.
I'm really glad that worked out. It's a good feeling too.
It is.
You know, getting that all together, having it work. Demonomaniac, $5 donation. Hey Paul and Kyle, I'm a big fan of your channels. Glad to be cracking open a beer on my 21st birthday. I'm watching you guys live.
Happy birthday!
Cheers! Happy birthday!
Cheers!
Hell yeah!
Drink up. Wonder what you're drinking. Get crunk.
Coda, $10 donation.
Coda.
Got a new job, so I can donate now. Here's $10 for my ad block. Stay sexy, Pimp Daddy.
Nice,
Coda,
man.
That is a classy move. Thank you so much.
Very classy.
We do not mind when people use ad block. We completely understand.
As long as you give us lots of money.
But if you want to do that at the same time, hey, then everybody wins.
Yeah.
Cian Voltaz, or C-E-A-N.
Sean?
Sean?
Maybe it's a foreign Sean.
$10 donation. No comments, but we definitely very much appreciate that donation. Thank you so much.
Cool.
Gundy Call. $35 donation, which gets a nice orange hue.
Yeah.
It updates it from the yellow.
It's very Ryzen.
Congrats on 500K, Paul. Love both yous and Kyle's channels. Kyle's channel. Keep up the good work and bringing us all the sexy computer porn.
Woo!
Thank you, Gundy Call.
We do it hardcore.
Thank you for the donation. Thank you for the congrats. I'm super stoked to have hit 500K. Finally, Coda with another donation. This is he also donated that $10 donation. Also, Paul, what is your favorite Star Trek series? Because I've eyeballed that data picture in your office, and I have been wondering. So it's a good question. I have a particular fondness for the original series, for the original Star Trek series with Captain Kirk and all that. But I mean, it's very campy and it's 60s and all that kind of. So that's more of like a LOL, I think it's funny kind of thing. I'd have to go with Star Trek: The Next Generation because that's what I actually watched when I was like, I don't want to say how old I was. I was like early teenager, pre-teenager when that was on. And I remember watching it on Wednesday nights and thinking it was cool. Not thinking it was cool, thinking I liked it. I had no, there's no way I thought it was cool at the same time. Okay, real quick, some Johnsons, and then we'll switch over to Kyle's half of the show. I have 4. Kyle's got a few as well, I'd imagine here.
Hold on.
Nicholas from Germany. Oh my God, all the way from Germany, getting a 0 insertion force shirt.
Woo!
Johnson to you, Nicholas.
Double Johnson for picking up an Evolution shirt, Crystal RGB, overclocking mug, and a Stay Positive shirt.
Hell yeah.
Thanks, man.
Taking advantage of Kyle's new inventory.
Wow.
Also, if you buy from both our stores, you're going to get that package together. You will get a shipping discount, which I imagine going to Germany is hopefully at least a few bucks.
Yep.
Benjamin, thank you so much. Johnson to you.
Double Johnson.
From Michigan. Yes.
Yep.
Got a Thumbscrew shirt from me.
And BIOS Flasher shirt from I.
Lovely, wonderful.
It's all for me.
Couple more from I. Wade from Cincinnati. Thank you so much for grabbing that Paul's Hardware White Lego shirt.
Wade.
Beautiful, beautiful. Johnson to you. And we have Josh from Illinois. Got a Thumbscrew Black Logo shirt. Josh, thank you so much. Johnson to you, sir. And that is all from my half of the show.
Lovely.
If you're watching this live, thank you so much for being here. We're going to cut my half. We'll post the link. Actually, the link to Kyle's half should be in the video description. I hope I updated that. If not, we'll post that. Also, if you're watching, hit the thumbs up button. Let us know you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching. And have a lovely day. Have just a wonderful day.
Or lovely night.
Or night. Could be nighttime where you are.
We don't know.
Good point, Kyle.